Since Kaylee and Sarah cannot behave, listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach,
where we're all about keeping it real in the world of fitness.
I'm Sarah, your go-to fitness professional, cutting through the BS to bring you the truth.
And I'm Kaylee, your fitness newbie, here to ask the questions you're too afraid to ask.
From crunches to kale, we've got the inside scoop on what works and what doesn't.
Because fitness should be fun.
So Kaylee, what do you like to listen to when you work out?
I don't know, sometimes a podcast and sometimes music.
Hey, wait, this is a podcast. What if you could have both?
At the same time?
Oh, yeah. Podbeat is a free mobile app that lets you add any beat style to any podcast for your workout. It's easy to do and free to download in the App Store. Kaylee, you sound pretty cool with the trap beat, but Sarah, the funk beat works for your voice.
So if you want to make our podcast work for a workout, check it out in the App Store.
They even have Podbeat for Android users in the Google Play Store. Okay, on to the show.
So Kaylee.
So Sarah.
Season 4.
Here we are. How you been?
Good.
Where you been? I haven't heard from you.
I know. Well, I don't choose to hang out with you outside of recording the podcast. So we have gaps of time that...
Why is that?
Well, I take that back. You flood me with TikToks in our time in between. And then...
That's my love language.
I love it. It's great. And then I'll go through and binge watch them.
As you should.
Like, acknowledge them. And then...
As you should. No, I love that. Other than that, like, how you been? How's your mental health? Your,
Right
life?
now I am tired.
You're busy.
Life is busy and
You're
I'm
a busy
tired.
Girl. I was just thinking earlier, oh my God, the last couple weeks have been so crazy. And then I was like, wait, why have they been crazy? And then I'm like, they've been crazy because I've been like cooking my family dinners and like.
So crazy.
Woo.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's just amazing. One thing I do want to talk about real quick is the last week's episode. The last episode of season 3,
Your epiphany?
The whole subject was my trauma dumping about how sometimes I cry on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And the thing that we now know that we didn't know at the time and our listeners don't know is that Alan had some friends come in. Audio Alan had some friends come in to sit in and watch us record that podcast, which was super cool. They were super nice people. One of the two friends was...
After the episode was over.
After the episode was over, informed us that she was in fact a therapist.
And it was like licensed in the specific therapy that you need.
She seemed very concerned about me.
She was really excited to consider you as a client, I think.
So I've been thinking about that since then.
Did you take her number?
No, I think honestly, I don't know.
She's a little scared about unpacking, I think.
Well, I don't want to go to therapy because I get anxious about going to therapy because of my anxiety. I don't want to go to therapy for my anxiety because
it makes you anxious to go to.
I'm anxious about it. So that's where I'm at.
She was, I think, just like chomping at the bit.
She was
like
super
the
sweet.
idea to like
you could
have
tell
an opportunity to fix you.
There were so many things she wanted to say to me, and she was like, "Well, I shouldn't," because
Yeah, and while we were recording too, I think she was out of my vision.
It's so funny.
I was talking to you, but I think you could see her, and there was maybe some opportunities that she really hoped she'd had a mic in front of her.
She's really into this crying on the treadmill thing, but I think. Anyway, it's cool. It's fine. I'm fine. Listen, everybody, I'm fine.
I'm fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
We're all fine. I just wanted to throw that out there with a fun fact. There was a therapist. There was a therapist on site, and I'm fine.
Have you had any more running crying sessions?
Yeah, a couple. I've been running a lot lately because I'm prepping for we're gonna do a half of a half of a half. Wait, a half of a half marathon.
Half of a half marathon.
It's a half marathon relay. So together, the two of us
we're running
are going to run a half marathon.
Correct.
So I'm going to run 6-ish miles. I don't carry the one. I don't know, but
6.6.
Anyway, I've been getting ready for it.
I'm proud of you.
So I have been putting in some miles on the treadmill.
I probably should run.
You're not going to.
Well, just
be where you are, be who you are.
Listen, I did go out and run the 5K with you last summer.
You did.
And I did not train for that really at all.
Right. And I think you're going to run the half marathon. We're going to do that. I don't think you're going to do shit to train for it. And just be real about that.
There's a big difference between 3.1 and 6.6. I'm just going to say that is a significant difference in distance.
Literally double.
Over double. So
I have a question. Do we run the 6.6 all in one go? Yeah. And then you go or whatever?
Yeah, you have to run one leg of it because I think it's a down and back on that trail.
Okay.
And so it's you at start or one of us starts and the other person's at the turnaround point, I think is how they do that one on the trail. So
that'll be great. And
that will be a good time.
We're going to do that. But so yeah, I've been getting ready for that. So I've been doing.
I kind of forgot about that. Actually, I probably really should.
How can you forget? That's like literally the only thing I think about is that in less than 2 months, I have to run like that. And you don't even think about it. We're not the same. That's like the first thing I think when I wake up in the morning. And the last thing I think about.
I'm going to have to do this.
Yeah. So you're just built different and that's fine. I am continually amazed by you. Anyway.
I'm proud of you for stepping outside of your comfort zone and agreeing to do that.
Well, thanks. So yeah, I've been training by crying and running on the treadmill.
Okay.
I haven't cried. I think I did say in the episode, like one of the things I want to do this year is like cry more. Mm-hmm. Haven't cried a whole lot. So still working on that.
That's okay. Well, baby steps.
Yeah.
So good.
Maybe I'll go to therapy someday. Maybe.
I mean, no rush. I love you as you are. Yeah. What if you go get like all fixed and stuff and then you're not funny anymore?
That's my biggest worry. Actually, I was just telling my friend that. Is that the reason I don't want to get therapized is because I'm afraid I won't be funny anymore.
Are you funny?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't get half your jokes. So
you're not my target audience, to be honest with you. So that's fair.
That is fair. Fair enough.
But I love you just the same.
Oh, ditto. So, all right. So today then.
Yeah. What's this episode about?
We're going to kick off the season with a social post that actually, this relates to my biggest fear.
Oh. My biggest fear is not being funny.
Is that your biggest fear, you think?
Yeah. Getting therapized and not being funny anymore.
Okay.
If I heal, it's all out the window. Your biggest fear is
getting to a point where I've aged enough and I'm weak. I'm weak enough that I need help to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
Like, I feel like I've mentioned it before. Mm-hmm. That's part of my why. It's not my only part of my why, but that is definitely why I like to be active and why I still try to live life doing strong things.
You know what I think one of the biggest differences between you and I is?
What?
You think about yourself a lot in terms of the future. And I literally have never thought about myself.
No?
Just worry about myself now.
And
I worry about myself a lot in the past too.
Yeah.
Just rethinking shit that I've said and done.
Right. Well, all you have to do is listen to our podcast, and then you can hear what you've actually said before.
Me, I do. Terrible. I relate to nobody less than whoever this person is
recording on this podcast. Who is that?
Anyway,
so there was a social post that actually kind of hit me at the core because I was like, yes, this is my fear. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this and kind of what he said. So I had not yet followed his actual account, so I don't know the quality of his other posts or content, or maybe I should.
Yeah.
But the Instagram is at Train Bloom, and he posted this fun fact. And the fun fact is the number one reason people get checked into assisted living when they're older is because they can't get off the toilet by themselves. So they need help. Yeah. The number one reason why people get checked into assisted living when they're older is because they can't get off the toilet by themselves.
That is so fun.
In other words, they don't have the lower body strength or mobility to do 1/2 of a rep of a body squat.
A body weight squat.
Like you can't even do half of a rep of a body squat
to get off the toilet.
And so, side note on this topic, we recently had a ton of water and sewer issues in our place in Kansas City and had to get a bunch of plumbing work done. And while we were at it, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, the toilets are probably 20 years old. Are they using a lot of water? Like, do we use this as an opportunity to just update some fixtures too? So we went through and it's like, okay, fine. Replace both of the toilets while you're here. And so he's like, okay, yeah, we can do these really great like ADA height ones. And I was like, I'm going to stop you right there.
Oh.
Don't you dare think you're putting an ADA height toilet in my bathroom. And he looked at me. And I go, well, number one, I have kids.
Oh, you verbally abused him.
I did. I mean, I was maybe slightly nicer about that, but I was also super stressed out about the significant amount of plumbing
He insulted.
that we were having.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh no, I don't want that in my house.
Don't you dare.
One, I've got kids that extra 3 inches. He's like, it's not that much. And I said, it's enough to a child.
Yeah.
That makes it harder for them to, go on their own. And number two, I believe that is the beginning of the end for people. When you start moving out of houses that you don't have steps anymore, when you are sitting on ADA height toilets, those are not for people, moving people.
Yeah.
Those are for people that are already disabled and need help to get up. Don't start using that because your hip crease is not getting below your knees now, 5 or 6 times a day when you're going to the bathroom.
Right.
You're no longer having to stand up. You're starting at that half rep and going up. Anyways.
Yeah.
So this is what it's saying. Now, this is not obviously the only metric that matters, whether somebody gets into assisted living facilities or not. But if it's the number one reason why you're not able to stand yourself up back off of the toilet,
right,
we have a problem. Okay, so what they did was he then showed like a cross cut of like your leg.
Yeah.
Like an MRI of your leg. And so it's showing the amount of muscle mass that starts on a 40-year-old triathlete.
Yeah.
And you can see, I mean, it kind of looks like a steak.
Yep.
You've got like a bone and you've got all of the meat, and then just around the outside, there's like that thin layer of white fat. And then it flashes forward and to a 74-year-old sedentary man. Mm-hmm. And this honestly to me looks like a boob. Two boobs.
Well, actually,
it's like mostly
they kind
fat.
of actually all do.
Well, that's true too. This almost looks like one with implants because there's like this tiny little circle in the middle, and then you've got but it is drastically different.
It very much so.
I mean, and that there's this quad muscle, and it's not even like full, healthy, solid quad muscle.
No,
like it is
amount of muscle,
very holy, and the coloring's even kind of different.
Yeah,
like you can tell that it's
scary to see it like that.
It's gone and like shriveled up. Mm-hmm. If you're so this is from a 74-year-old sedentary man,
which means non-moving,
not moving a whole lot, not moving much. Which I mean, we have highly sedentary lives these days. Mm-hmm. So if you're a sedentary 40-year-old man, if you have a desk job, I would consider you a sedentary person. Mm-hmm. So if you're starting off sedentary in your 40s while you're working your corporate job and you're having less than 2,000 steps a day, you're looking into your crystal ball here. If you are somebody who continues to be active and participate in things and paying attention to your wellness and probably strength training a little bit, a 70-year-old triathlete, so somebody who's now stayed active throughout their life, it still looks like the 40-year-old leg. Mm-hmm. It looks
that's
like
amazing.
A steak. And
that's wild.
You got the muscle with that.
The boobs.
All that. You're not the boobs. Not the boobs. We moved on.
Boobs too.
Those are kind of in the middle. Sad little things. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay. And this just directly relates to your quality of life.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you're not very old when you're 74, and if you're not strong enough now all of a sudden, like, your mental capacity is usually probably still there. Mm-hmm. You probably still have grandkids that you're wanting to go out and be around. Your kids are still alive that you're wanting to still spend time with. But now all of a sudden you have to leave your home because you can't get on and off the toilet.
Yeah. Ugh.
So now you're uprooting yourself because you can't stay home now by yourself anymore. Okay. So if two people, it's quality of life. And then he goes on to say, if two people live to be 80 years old, but one person spends the last 10 years in assisted living.
Yeah, what's the
Yeah, you're all the things that you're missing out on, exploring because you're limited.
Yeah, then why even live that long?
Yeah, what is the point of living then at that point? I don't know. I mean, you're probably just going to stay more sedentary and need more help. And just where does it go from there, right? So there's just two drastically different lives, I think, that are happening. And so he actually does even go on to, he quotes the original paper and has the PubMed ID that's on there. So it's not just something like he made up. Right. He went through and he actually like cited his sources, which is all super great. So it's food for thought that sometimes working out is not just about aesthetics.
Absolutely.
It's preserving your quality of life as long as possible in your life. And when we're specifically talking about leg strength,
right?
Body weight squats isn't going to cut it. I mean, you have to force your body to do more. Those are big muscles in your legs.
Yep.
Get to the gym
or at home.
You're going to need some significant amount of weight.
How much?
I mean, more than what you're picking up in everyday life. So my best comparison is if you are a household that has a dog, how heavy is a bag of dog food when you had your dog? 40, 50 pounds?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me is an amount of weight that is just standard living.
Oh.
So if you're picking that up and you're slinging it around, you're carrying it. Okay, so your body's already used to doing that. So if you want to get stronger,
has to be a lot of weight.
You're going to have to ask it to do more than just things that you're doing in your everyday life.
How do you feel about the leg press machine?
I don't mind the leg press machine. The thing that I just say about the leg press machine is make sure you're getting a full range of motion.
Yeah.
It's really easy on a leg press machine to crawl in and start your legs at like 90 degrees or even less and just kind of do like half pushes. You kind of have to crawl into those and almost get yourself into the spot where you're at the bottom of your squat.
Yeah.
So that you can push and do a true full range. Because if you're not doing that and you're kind of just doing half squats, you're missing out on a lot of it.
Okay. I was curious because I've seen some leg press hate.
Well, leg press does take out the balance factor that comes with barbell squats.
Right.
So you're not going to have core activation or anything like that you would have when you're actually using free weights versus a leg press. But if you're really just looking at preserving leg muscle or even growing leg muscle, I mean, it's an effective tool.
What about 2 45 or 50 pound dumbbells for squats?
So you'd have a total of 100.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good start.
Okay.
Because if a barbell is 45 and you put a 25 pound plate on each one, then you're at 95. So
asking for a friend.
Your power blocks go up that high?
Yeah, they go up to 50.
And you're using them for squats?
Yeah.
How low do you go?
As low as you want me to go.
How low should I go?
Right now I'm doing, because I have different types of squats for each. I have 3 workouts a week.
Okay.
And I do different types of squats. So I think, I don't even know. I know Bulgarian split squat, which right now I'm on 30 pounds per arm. I hold 2 30-pound dumbbells.
Yeah. How low do you go?
I do them right. I've done my
do you think the top of your leg gets parallel with the floor?
Yeah.
Your quad?
I've done a lot of research on how to do a proper Bulgarian split squat.
Okay.
Because I want to do it right.
Yeah. That is one.
Because it's so fucking hard.
It hurts.
That I'm not going to waste my time not doing it right.
No. You definitely have to get your feet set correctly on a Bulgarian split squat. Otherwise, you'll feel the pressure in your knee or you'll feel the pressure or like pulling in your quad more than it should. So you definitely do have to get your stance correct.
I'm working. I'm in there. That's why I told you I'm working on, like, I'm zeroing in on my form.
I'm proud of you
now for all these exercises that I'm doing.
I do love the fact you're doing single leg work.
Yeah, Bulgarian split squats and then sumo squats.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm doing those right. That's a tough one to. And then, my third workout is step ups, holding the weights, doing step ups.
Yeah.
So those are my 3, I guess.
How high is your step?
It's the bench. What?
When you put your foot up on the bench, is your knee higher than your hip crease?
When I put my foot up on the bench. Is my knee higher?
Could be close, probably. Like a standard bench height.
Yeah.
It could be just slightly.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. You want it to be, if you want to keep going potty on your own for as long as possible.
That's now my
You got to
goal.
do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I think I'm doing all right on the, but I will say when I was going to the gym, that's why I asked about the leg press. Cause I feel like I don't know, when I could feel my quads and like I could really feel it. I was really building muscle. I think the most of that happened when I was like blasting my quads on the leg press.
Yeah.
And I feel like ever since I quit going to the gym, I'm not seeing that.
What pin did you, like, how much weight did you have put on that?
Shit. Well, I don't know what I was.
Was that our new one?
Yeah, that was the new one, which is it's the sled one.
Yeah.
I don't know, 140?
See, which is more than 250-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, whenever you have dumbbells like that, you also have to factor your grip strength into hand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And your legs just are big muscles, and they're not, you have to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Think about your quality of life as you age, because it is never too late to start. You can start reversing this. Like, building muscle is a simple fix. This does not have to be your future. It does not have to be your life.
Right.
But yeah, it's also the number one reason, not only for assisted living, but it's the number one reason why people are in walkers. You need some sort of like cane or something.
Falling.
Absolutely.
People fall and they break their hips, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
You know, you're done.
It is the beginning of the end a lot of times too, if you're starting to fall a lot. But I also do feel like even if you fall, then a lot miss that strength to be able to get up off of the ground. And so
because it's one thing to fall. It's another thing to fall when you're alone and you can't get up.
And so I spend a lot of time sitting on the floor with my kids and, practicing that movement in everyday life gets highly underestimated. Yeah. The power that it can have. And so it's like, don't stop. But that was a Blue Zones thing too.
Yeah, it was.
They talked about whatever country that one was that they talked about in that one episode. That was something that a lot of them did. They were surprised that their houses had no furniture in them. They
got on the floor.
They were on the floor, and they were sitting on the floor. And then when you sit on the floor too, you sit with better posture. Yeah. So you're engaging your core. You're sitting up correctly. You're not slouching. You're not like all lazy there either. But then yes, you're having to constantly you have to keep your strength to be able to get back up. So it's kind of some of those simple things, but it works. Yeah. I know. I think there we go. We kicked off season 4 with a topic that's very dear to me.
Blasting those quads.
Blast those, lift weights, blast the quads. So you can go potty by yourself as you get older. And stay living in your house. Yeah. It's not just about that, but I mean, gosh, that was hard. I watched my grandparents go through that. I mean, that is a hard transition in life, is, your home that you've had oftentimes for 40, 50 plus years. I mean, I watched my grandparents move out of our family's farmhouse that my grandpa was born in. Oh, I mean, he had a short period of time where they lived somewhere else when they first got married. But the second my great grandparents moved out, they moved in. Yeah. Decades of life and history. And then when you're not able to stay, it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard. So,
on that terribly sad note.
Yeah, I know. So, welcome. But you have the power to change it.
Yes. Yes.
We made it uplifting now. Then there we go. So, anyways, it was something that came across. I saved it because I thought it was worth talking about. And so there we go. That's all we've got for today. So, until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.